Meeting number 19 is now called to order. This is October 1st, 2018. It is 5:30 p.m., and we are in the Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers. I'm going to ask Josh to come and to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please stand and join us? Thank you, sir. Kathleen.
Wilson.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Graham Murray.
Here.
McCampbell.
Here.
Rinker.
Here.
Okay. Tonight on the agenda first, we have a Mayor's Award, and really glad to be giving this one out to a guy that the last time I saw him, you were only like 2 foot tall. So I don't know what happened in the process. He's getting taller and I'm getting shorter. But every once in a while, we get citizens that go above and beyond the call. I know this was a project, but still, you went big. And it's just awesome every time I drive past North Hill School and I see what you did. It's quite impressive. And I'm giving this Mayor's Award to Josh Wyatt, and he's the one that's responsible for doing the, painted the American flag on the North Hill Elementary School.
Playground.
Thank you, that thing. So, be it known on behalf of the city of Burlington, Iowa, I would like to thank you for being a model Burlingtonian. Your creative ability and your commitment to the Boy Scouts of America has made an impact on the children of North Hill Elementary School, as well as the residents of Burlington. You stand out amongst your peers, and you help make Burlington to be a great place to live, work, and play. On October 1st, 2018, this Mayor's Award is presented to Josh Wyatt. Come on down. You were like 2 foot tall last time I saw you. It's great. This is a small one. He's a big boy. Thank you, sir. Would you please have a word?
Basically, I did it because I used to live by the old one, and I kind of miss it, so I just wanted it back, so I did it.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Thank you.
He's a stud. All right. Man, we appreciate it. You guys could get on out of here. You don't just stick around for the rest of it. Thanks for coming down, guys. Josh, keep up the good work. We appreciate you. All right. Next, we have a proclamation. First one is for Fire Prevention Week.
This proclamation reads, whereas the Burlington Fire Department is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Burlington, fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed over 2,735 people in the United States in 2016, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 352,000 home fires.
Wow.
The majority of the U.S. fire deaths, 4 out of 5, occur in homes each year. The fire death rate per 1,000 home fires reported to U.S. fire departments was 10% higher in 2016 than in 1980. And whereas Burlington residents should identify places in their homes where fires can start and eliminate those hazards. Working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in home fires in half. Burlington residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home. And whereas Burlington residents should listen for the sound of the smoke alarm, and when it sounds, respond by going outside immediately to a designated meeting place. Burlington residents who have planned and practiced home fire escape plans are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Burlington's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. Burlington's residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take action to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2018 Fire Prevention Week theme is look, listen, learn, be aware, fires can happen anywhere. This effectively serves to remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase our safety from fire. Now, thereas we, the City Council of Burlington, Iowa, here do proclaim October 7th through 13th, 2018 as Fire Prevention Week throughout this city, and we urge all the people of Burlington to be aware of their surroundings, to look for available ways out in case the event of a fire or other emergency, respond when that smoke alarm sounds, exit the building immediately, and support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Burlington Fire Department this Fire Prevention Week. Signed and sealed this first day of October 2018. Shane the Campbell, Mayor.
Mark Crooks.
I want to thank the mayor and the council for the proclamation recognizing Fire Prevention Week of 2018. Fire Prevention Week started in 1922, in part to commemorate the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, which lasted for 3 days and killed over 300 people. Fire Prevention Week is always during the week that has October 9th in it, as that is the day that the Chicago Fire did the most damage. But Fire Prevention Week is also a time for all of us to step back and take a look at what we're doing around our homes and businesses and to work at preventing fires from starting. On average, fire departments across the United States respond to a home fire every 86 seconds. Between the years of 2011 and 2015, United States fire departments responded to an average of 358,500 home structure fires per year. These fires caused 12,300 civilian injuries and 2,510 civilian deaths, with $6.7 billion in direct fire damage. Cooking is still the leading cause of home fires, and if you're going to have a fire in your home, the kitchen is the room that you're most likely going to have it in. This year's theme is Look, Listen, Learn. Be aware, fire can happen anywhere. Look for places home fires can start and minimize those risks. Keep cooking areas clear of clutter. Keep anything that you can burn well away from the heat sources, and make sure electrical outlets are not overloaded. Listen for the sound of smoke alarms. If you hear it, take it seriously, whether you are at home or any other location. And as a side note, about a week and a half ago, I was doing a routine fire inspection in a business here in town. And the fire alarm started to activate when I was in there. It had absolutely nothing to do with what I was doing. It was just ironic that it happened to be there when I was there. People just went on about their daily business. Nobody seemed to care, but they all seemed to look at me and wanted me to make sure that I got it shut off in a timely fashion. And once we finally tracked it down, they were like, boy, it took you so long to get that turned off. And I'm like, well, the whole purpose of that is for you to leave. So take it seriously is kind of a key theme here, I think. But the Burlington Fire Department also has our free smoke detector program. Any citizen in Burlington and with our response district can call the Burlington Fire Department's non-emergency number. We will come out and we will evaluate your home, and we will install a smoke detector totally free of charge for you. Make sure that you are protected. That's our goal. The last point is to learn what to do if the smoke alarm sounds. Make a home escape plan with members of your household and practice it together at least twice a year. This year, during Fire Prevention Week, the Burlington Fire Department will once again be visiting all of the schools to conduct and evaluate fire exit drills. We will be conducting our annual fire safety poster contest with all of the fourth graders in all of the elementary buildings. Each school will have a first, second, and third place winner, and there will be a grand prize winner for all of the schools combined. That grand prize winner will receive a large trophy and a bicycle donated by Bickle's Cycling and Fitness. The posters will be judged by the Art Center in Burlington. I would like to thank Tyler and Melinda Bickle and Tammy McCoy and her staff at the Art Center for their continued support for us during our poster contest during Fire Prevention Week. I want to thank you again for this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Here I have a proclamation. Whereas domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking affects women, children, and men of all racial, cultural, and economic backgrounds, causing long-term physical, psychological, and emotional harm. And whereas 1 in 3 Americans has witnessed an incident of domestic violence, and whereas children who experience domestic violence are at a higher risk for failure in school, mental illness, substance abuse, suicide, and may choose violence as a way to solve problems later in life. And whereas domestic violence in rural communities exists as a hidden, silent, and often unrecognized crime that is often underreported. And whereas through the inspiration, courage, and persistence of victims of domestic violence, their children and advocates, our communities are learning to recognize the impact of violence in the home and within intimate relationships. And whereas the Domestic Violence Intervention Program has worked to end violence in intimate relationships for more than 39 years through the collaborative partnership of advocates, volunteers, local municipalities, criminal justice, health and human services, faith communities, business leaders, and private citizens. And whereas our community's achievements should be commended, and we must continue our commitment to respect and support victims of domestic violence and to prevent further violence in our community. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Burlington, Iowa, hereby proclaim the month of October 2018 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Burlington, Iowa, and urge all citizens to work together to eliminate domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking from our community. Signed and sealed the first day of October 2018, Shane A. McCampbell, Mayor. I have Crystal and Bronis.
Can I please?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bronis Petit, and I am the director of the Domestic Violence Intervention Program. I oversee the 8-county operation. I have with me today Crystal Yoder. She is our housing specialist. And I just want to thank you guys for acknowledging October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I have a few flyers here. I don't know if I can pass them out.
Sure, certainly.
Let me keep one. And what we have before you is some flyers. I just want to thank the City Council for Des Moines County for all of your support that you have provided to the Domestic Violence Intervention Program and to victims of domestic violence. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we thought it would be helpful to you. We have provided you a flyer that gives some statistics that our agency has collected in reference to the number of victims in your county that we have served within the past fiscal year. Within this last year, we've served 265 youth. The total number of clients served is 1,746. There's some other stats on here that you can feel free to take a look at. I want to also draw your attention to the month of October. On the back, we have a calendar of all of the events that we have going on within this county. This month, we're encouraging you to come out and support. I want to draw your attention to October the 9th. I don't know if everyone here is aware that DVIP has entered into a collaboration with the YMCA, the old Burlington Domestic Violence Shelter. We have partnered with them and turned it into more of a transitional type of program, and it's called Journey House of Burlington. On October the 9th from 4 to 5:30 at the Apple Tree Mansion, which is where our business offices are. We're going to be having a ribbon cutting for that program, which has been a success thus far. And then on October 12th, I don't know if you're familiar with our Shop for Safety events. That is where at the local Hy-Vee on Agency Street and Angular, you can come out and purchase an item for victims of domestic violence. It will go to support those in our in the local sheltering program and people that reach out who are not in that sheltering program. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us. And again, I just want to thank you for your support and this proclamation on today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have the consent agenda. All matters listed under item 1, consent agenda, having been discussed, are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. On the consent tonight, we have the usual, finances and miscellaneous, minutes of previous meetings, payroll and city claims, beer, liquor, wine, and cigarettes, reports, and bonds. We have 8 resolutions. The first is a resolution approving nuisance abatements for various properties. The second is a resolution approving final acceptance, final payment, and release of retention monies for the 2018 parking lot improvements, 6th Street and Washington Street lot. The third is a resolution approving final acceptance, final payment, and release of retention monies for the 2018 seal coat reconstruction. The fourth is a resolution approving permanent easement at 726 Blackhawk Boulevard for construction of sanitary sewer. The fifth is a resolution awarding bid for installation of sanitary sewer to provide service to the property at 715 Shaka Khan Drive. The sixth is a resolution establishing a no parking zone on the south side of Florence Avenue from Crystal Drive to end of pavement to the east. The seventh is a resolution approving an application for funds from the Iowa Grant Place Grant of the Iowa Department of Cultural Affairs for projects along the downtown riverfront. And the eighth one is a resolution approving an agreement with H.R. Green, Inc. of Cedar Rapids, Iowa for engineering services for Burlington, Iowa wastewater treatment facilities, North End odor control. We have 2 hearings set for October 15th. The first is a consideration of sale of property, parcel number 16-17-228-043, located south of the property locally known as 715 Shaka Khan Drive, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions. And then the second is a consideration of an ordinance amending section 58.19 to motorized vehicles of chapter 58 noise control of the City of Burlington Municipal Code. And we also have an appointment. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, we have an appointment for the Library Board of Trustees. Megan has expressed interest in serving for a member who has moved out of the city limits.
Okay, well, we welcome you, Megan. Is there anybody that would like to have any of these items from the consent removed? I see none. Council?
Nope.
I move we approve all items listed under item 1 on the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved in second. Kathleen?
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
All right. This is time set for hearing for consideration of plans and specifications for the 2018 West Burlington and Agency Intersection Traffic Signal Detection. Publication has been made in the Hawkeye as prescribed by law.
This public hearing is about plans and specs for the intersection. It's camera detection for the lights that currently exist. This is a continuation of a project for the agency widening project that's already been completed. Most of the construction's completed. You'll actually close that out here at the next meeting. Because the contractor didn't want to do this section of the work, we're bidding it out separately because it's part of the conglomerate, and in order to follow within state code, we need to do it this way. So we'll go out to bid with this. And it can still happen sometime later this fall in the winter. So.
Any questions or concerns from the audience? I see none. Council?
No concerns?
Motion to close?
Second.
Moved in second twice. Kathleen?
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
I have a resolution, Your Honor, approving the plans and specs. Let's try this again. Your Honor, I have a resolution approving the plans and specs for the 2018 West Burlington and Agency Intersection Traffic Signal Detection.
Second.
Moved in second. That gets me too sometimes. Kathleen? Let's vote.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Your Honor, I have a motion for preliminary adoption of the second reading of an ordinance amending section 100.62.d, determination of stormwater utility fee right-of-way of Chapter 100 Stormwater Management and Drainage Systems Utility of the City of Burlington Municipal Code.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir.
There, from what I know, there is no changes from the last update that you had received on some of the definition changes due to with the airport right of way and the taxiways. So everything will stay the same.
Okay. Okay.
Questions or concerns from the audience? I see none. Council, we're good?
Good.
Kathleen, let's vote.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Graham Murray.
Aye.
McCampbell.
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Your Honor, I have a motion for final adoption of an ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 105 Garbage and Solid Waste and Chapter 106 Collection of Solid Waste of the City of Burlington Municipal Code.
Second.
A second, Mr. Fitting.
This is the third reading of a proposed amended ordinance pertaining to the collection of solid waste in our community, specifically the garbage program. As stated previously in the other two council meetings, the lion's share of the changes in this proposed amended ordinance relates to the change in the program from customer-owned cans and carts for setting out in the collection of garbage to city-owned wheeled carts. The language also indicates that the customer-owned containers will no longer be allowed to be used for the collection of garbage in the community. It also has in it that the new carts, for us to be emptying them, the lid needs to be fully closed. One of the goals that the council wanted to attempt to accomplish through this program was the reduction in the number of nuisances associated with garbage, accumulating garbage, in collection of garbage. With the lids being fully closed, that should cut down on some of the issues that arise from garbage being exposed to the atmosphere, being exposed to animals, neighbors, and so on and so forth. Also, that the extra garbage must be bagged and tagged. Again, would be in lieu of allowing the use of extra 33-gallon cans or carts to be used. It also includes language that says that all putrescible, well, I don't know if it uses the word putrescible, it's too hard to say.
You just like that
All
word.
putrescible garbage, meaning garbage that's oriented with food, food preparation, things that can rot, release liquids, create odors, attract insects, vermin, animals, wild animals. Those types of materials are supposed to be bagged and the bag sealed before it goes in the cart, and then a combination with the lid being fully closed should again help with controlling, reducing the number of nuisances associated with organic material. It also includes language that says that the resident is responsible for keeping the carts reasonably clean, even though the carts are owned by the city. And last but not least, it does remove previous section 106.08, reduced base fee under property tax credit program. That's been deleted from the ordinance. So that's a quick overview of the proposed ordinance.
Can you clarify where the trash cans are supposed to be set to be picked up? Apparently, there's some confusion there.
Well, we've probably sent out maybe about 20 letters to 20 properties indicating that their particular set-out location was not going to work with the cart program and we needed to make changes. I think the most frequent change in the location was to take it from the back out to the front, out to the curb line. But otherwise, people are concerned. They see the cart sitting out front when it's delivered, and they believe that means that's the set-out location from now on, and that's not the case. The set-out location, unless you've been notified by the city, remains the same. We have been having calls about problems with locations or perceived problems with locations, and we have handled some of those on a one-on-one basis, face-to-face, indicating the program is just getting started. There may be some need for additional clarification, some additional changes, but unless you've been notified by the city, whether it be in writing or if we've considered taking our violation tag and putting it on a cart and making a notation about a change to try to move the process along. And if you don't have those things, your set-out location remains the same under this program as it was previously.
Okay. The only other thing I would add is, which isn't a question, but if you're using the 35-gallon, if that's the ones that you ordered, you're probably not going to have a lot of luck if you're using the great big garbage bags. You're probably going to want to use the tall kitchen bags for your trash to go in there. It's going to make things a lot easier. People trying to shove the great big bags in there, you're going to have some problems. So with the 35, that would be a good suggestion to use the tall kitchen trash bags. So many you can get in there, but they'll fit a lot easier. And I thought I had another one, but I guess that's it. Council?
Don, since you're standing there on trash, how's it going? What percentage of it is out?
Well, we get a daily update, and of course, I left to come here before I got the update for today. They typically work till 6 o'clock. When I go into work in the morning, there's usually an email that's giving me an update on where they're at as far as number of households, number of carts. They work Saturdays, so there was an email that was sent following their end of the day on Saturday to me when I came in this morning. It indicated that of all the carts that are to be distributed within the city of Burlington, they were right at about 44% of the carts had been delivered. Also, an ongoing problem generating a lot of telephone calls is the 95 carts that were ordered came in late. We didn't see a truckload of those until Wednesday. Of course, they were working Monday and Tuesday and much of Wednesday already, so they were delivering 35s and 65s in neighborhoods. Those houses that had asked for 95s, they didn't get a cart, then they would be worried that they were missed, and they would call. So we got a lot of telephone calls and still field a lot of calls. I think the 95s are being distributed in the way they feel is most efficient. We don't control their schedule. So when people call us and say, well, when's my cart supposed to be here? We don't have that information. We don't control that. And then per route, the report this morning indicated that of the carts that are on Monday's trash route, they had about 85% of those distributed. They had about 35% on Tuesday's route, another 85% on Wednesday. Thursday's route only had less than 1% delivered, and Fridays it was only at 12%. So they've got a lot of work to do, and they tend to be done before Saturday, October 6th. But they did say allow us up to 2 weeks for completing the delivery. So that's where they're at. As far as the collection, we picked up a few and emptied carts last week. There were some on Wednesday's route that we actually did. Today, I talked to the guys at the end of the day, and they said they would guess somewhere between 60 and 75% of the houses on Monday's route were using their carts. One of the things that's going, maybe I should wait to the end of the meeting and come back and talk about the cart program a little bit.
But the one thing that I've had a lot of questions on, people ask me, when can I start using it? Well, I've told them immediately.
Yes.
So, and then the other thing was the delivery point. I had a few people say, well, I didn't get my cart, my neighbors did. I said, you look at your front yard. Oh, there it is. So.
One of the confusing issues, and it's been somewhat multiplied, is that, again, the public may be aware and may not be aware, but a change in policy was put into place Thursday late afternoon, early Friday morning. I advocated against a grace period for changing carts. I thought that we worked very, very hard to have out our sites for viewing the carts ahead of time so people could make their mind up on what size I did not want to spend a lot of time exchanging carts after the fact when they had an opportunity to see them. And we started to get some calls, and City Hall was handling some in-your-face type visits from people. And as a result, a change was made to where we did, in fact, implement a grace period where people could exchange their cart if they were unhappy with the size of the cart. We only have so many carts in inventory. Now, we have carts that will be coming back to us and carts that will be going out based on the customer's desire. They're calling the wastewater treatment plant, which is the number that we put out in the media for having that exchange, or filling out the form over the phone and making that exchange. And today, we had probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 residents indicate they want to change their cart size. And that's Monday. We had some on Friday. I expect we'll continue to have calls as carts are delivered to some of these routes that don't have very many carts out there. Once people get their hands on it, they say, well, this cart's too small, or this cart's too big. So I assume we're going to be seeing a similar rate. Maybe it'll start to reduce as we near the end of the week, but we're going to have a lot of carts to deal with. And the question will be is, well, do we have enough carts of the particular size to meet the demand? And if we have to order more carts of a particular size, then we have to put that order in, and it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get carts from the supplier. This ordinance says once it's adopted, then it has to be published. It's in effect upon publication, as I understand it. And as it says, it eliminates the allowance of using your own can in the program. The question has been, if you're going to exchange my cart, can I continue using my own container rather than using the new container that's been delivered to me and then having to wash it out before you take it back, which is a requirement of an exchange? We've said, yes, you can continue to use your can, and we hope and anticipate having all these exchanges done by November 1st. But that's basically 4 weeks away, and we haven't ordered any additional carts, and we don't know what the rest of this week is going to bring as far as exchanges. So people can begin using the cart upon delivery. If they're planning on an exchange, they may want to consider setting that cart back and not using it so they don't have to wash it out before returning it. Those exchanges are likely not to occur until, I would say, the 3rd or 4th week of this month. And if we have carts that we determine we need to order in order to meet all the needs, then the delivery could actually go beyond November 1st.
Would you say that most of those people are going to a 35 gallon or away, or just don't have any idea?
Well, I can tell you what the summary of today. Today we had, as I said, about 60 calls, and of those 60 calls, we had an increase of carts in inventory. The 35s, we had an increase of our inventory of 19 carts. So many of the people who had 35s delivered or saw relatives or neighbors down the street or over has indicated that cart's too small, I can't get anything in it, I want a larger cart. And so they've basically gone to 65s. We've had some 65s go back and say, hey, this is too big, I want a 35. And then we've had people move to the 95. So we actually saw an increase in inventory of about 20 carts in the 35, meaning 20 accounts have moved to a larger cart. We had about a break even in the 65s, and we increased our users of 95s by 13 in this one day.
So for the most part, people are moving to a larger cart.
The majority of the people are moving to larger carts.
Okay.
You guys good?
I'm good.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Just for the record, the mayor doesn't have his trash can yet either, so,
Not either.
no rush. I just want, just want to.
We do have a list that we keep, so
I just got mine.
there's always
today,
that
so-
suspicion, and it's true.
If the mayor's got his first, all right, no, I don't. Are we good?
You gonna be all right?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Questions or concerns from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
I got a question.
Can I have you come to the podium and give us your name and address?
Name's Rita Christie, 506 South Marshall, Burlington, Iowa. When was this voted on?
On the cards?
Yeah.
Oh, this has been quite a while ago.
Did you vote on it, or did the whole city vote on it?
We
Because
sent-
I don't remember getting a thing to vote on it.
Okay, well, we sent out flyers, and this has been.
Evidently, I didn't receive one.
Okay,
As
It
far
was
as
a
that goes,
sample.
I have
The
a
cards
garbage
was
company.
Yeah. you said-
I don't use Burlington Garbage. I haven't for the last 10 years, but I'm still paying the bill. What I'd like to know is, because I called the company out there to find out why I got a can, and according to him, they're not even sure why we're getting charged the amount we're getting charged for garbage. It covers 3 other items besides trash, but yet he don't know how much.
okay.
I want to know, is there any way of finding out how much it is for each individual, thing it covers?
With the breakdown on your bill?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, just for trash.
Yeah.
There's 3 other things that the bill the trash part of the bill pays for. They said make the city beautiful, which somebody's not doing the job on that part. The sewer, of course, it's already on the bill. And there's like 2 other ones that he said, but I can't remember what they are. But yet they're not itemized.
Do you want to address that, Nick, or Don?
Well, there should be a stormwater utility bill on there as well.
Well, that's fine, but
Don can
just the
answer your-
part for the trash.
Don, Mr.
Okay.
Fitting can answer that question.
The question, I believe, is the fee that appears on the water bill across from trash. That dollar amount includes the $3.75 for recycling.
Which is fine.
And the recycling fee that they pay covers the curbside collection program, the 24/7 drop-off, the production or the processing of the recyclables that are collected, the education program associated with recyclables, and also I believe it covers part of the household hazardous chemical program at the landfill, that operation, which deals with screens and the recycling center handles appliances and demanufacturing. Then the remainder of the amount on the bill is used for the trash collection program. But also, those fees that are collected also are used to pay for the 10 weeks of leaf collection program, the 3 in the spring and the 7 in the fall. That fee also covers the cost associated with the citywide cleanup that we have. That cost is also associated with residents who are customers are allowed to take out wood wastes to the landfill, as opposed to the city providing a curbside collection program. If a resident who is a participant or pays the trash bill on their water bill, they can show that they're a trash paying customer. When they take out wood waste to the landfill and show them that bill, they don't have to take a wallet out and or a billfold and pay for cash. That cost of the landfill receiving those wood waste and process it comes back to the city and is charged against that solid waste fund. And then, of course, the program itself, the trucks and the employees are the ones that go out and respond to citizens' calls about dead animals, different types of animals that are on the street, in the boulevard. We pick those types of things up. We also pick up the solid waste that's associated with the parks, the 2-yard, 4-yard, 6-yard containers. So that one fee covers all those types of programs.
But ma'am, if I can clarify for you, if you're sticking with the 35-gallon trash can, there's no increase
I'm
on
not
your.
using your can.
Well, again, there's,
I have never used your can.
okay. Well, there shouldn't be an increase on your bill. The price is, the price that you paid for your water bill, it's gonna remain the same. The only
But
increase.
I'm gonna get, am I not gonna get charged the amount for the can?
No.
No.
Okay. What I don't understand though is I've never used Burlington Garbage. I use Lebane's, have for 10 years. But yeah, I'm still paying this because I got told that everybody in Burlington pays that.
Everybody does.
There's
It's a-
three.
And he pays the fee.
3 other garbage places here in Burlington besides Burlington Garbage. Why does everybody have to pay on the water bill?
It's the same thing as it is with the recyclables, all of that. For those programs, it's a city program. There is no opt-out.
It's monopoly is what it is.
It's a city program, so it's, but there shouldn't be any changes on your bill. It's gonna remain the same.
Oh, it goes up every year though.
That's
For
because
different
of the sewer separation that's been the catalyst on those increases. It's not because we're just randomly increasing, it's because we had to spend millions of dollars and we're still spending on the sewer separation, so it's reflected in your bill.
Well, I went for 10 years without using Burlington Garbage. Guess what? I'll be using it another 10 years without using it.
Any other questions or concerns? I'm sorry for your frustration, ma'am. Council?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Let's vote.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Resolutions.
Your Honor, I have a resolution awarding contract for the 2018 Mason Road Shared Use Path.
Second.
This resolution would approve the bid for the Mason Road Trail Project that was let through the DOT back September 19th. The resolution and my recommendation would be award bid to Jones Contracting in the amount of $198,777. This is a TAP grant project. That's an 80-20 match. The total TAP grant that we had or available was $292,000. The available funds or the awarded amount is significantly less than what we had projected. What I think happened is we allowed the late start date to be next spring and allowed contractors to put it into their schedule a little earlier on to plan this project out. So I think that's the reason why you see the savings there.
Why is that solely the reason for the?
Well, and Iowa Civil Contracting, I think, is from the Washington area.
So travel.
So it's a little bit of a travel.
Mobilization and things like that.
Yeah.
happen in there.
Questions or concerns from the audience?
Oh, Eric has a map of the trail project up.
So
It goes from Haskell to the continuation of where the trail
So-
ends right at Sequoia.
MPT.
I'll wait till after public comment.
Questions or concerns from the audience? I see none. Thank you, Steph.
So my comment on this is that in the past we've had people say, why do we need that trail? There's no children or people riding their bikes over there, and I actually drive that road every day, and I have to avoid hitting children on that road, and it's like, yeah, there's kids on here and they don't need to be on the road.
Especially in the winter
Yeah.
when it snows and snow gets pushed up against the curb,
No
it
doubt.
pushes the kids out into the street.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty terrifying. I just found that out once school started.
It's
back
just
up again.
sensible when new families think about moving, they do look at the infrastructure. Can my child safely walk or bike to school?
Yeah, I mean, the middle school's right there, and I think it's gonna be great.
Well, great job on the flexibility too, which looks like it resulted in some savings, so hats off.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kathleen?
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
aye.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving participation in the Partnering for the Future campaign, Part 3, and associated with Grow Greater Burlington.
Second.
Partnership.
And second, thank you both. Jay Hutch? You're here. Didn't you just have a birthday?
Yeah, something
You
like
did?
that. Jason Hutchison, Greater Burlington Partnership. Good to be with you again tonight. No major change from my presentation a couple of weeks ago. Our 5-year plan of work called Partnering for the Future 3 is out and about. We're still putting the final touches on that, but we are meeting with folks in the private sector to seek their pledge of financial support for implementing that plan, and it's going very well so far.
Sweet. Any questions for Jason? Appreciate all you're doing, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Any questions or concerns from the audience? Mr. Williams. One of my favorite citizens, Larry Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Larry Williams, 1567 Mason Lane. I stand before you, I'm going to ask for $2 to $3 million to be spent in the next couple of years. It's kind of in your plans, but I just want to emphasize that you do it. One of them is finishing the north end of our riverfront improvement where the dike is. To me, that should have been put in first because that takes all the pressure from the river. But we need to borrow a couple million to get that done, maybe $2.5 million. The second thing would be, we've talked about trash tonight, and I got my can, I'm very happy with it. But I talked to Don several years ago about getting trucks that are automated so the driver never leaves the cab. And we've talked about it's difficult to get people to do the job, illness, injury, what have you. And that kind of eliminates all that. I mean, now we're hiring technicians and truck drivers instead of someone doing backbreaking work. The cost is, I think he said for alley use is about $100,000 more than a regular garbage truck. A little bit less for like where I live, where you put it out by the curb. So you'd need about 3 trucks at $100 and some thousand each, and 3 more with maybe $80,000 more per truck cost. And we buy about a truck a year or so. So if we put that into our budget over a period of time, and we eliminate one job, it's self-paying. Just the cost of one driver over 7 years would pretty much pay for the $100,000 a year. So it would not increase the cost of the utility bill that the people are paying. So I want you to put that under consideration and think about it. So if Don suggests it again, why we can work on it. It's a long-term project, you know, but it will improve employee problems and make us a greater place to live, work, and play, as they say on the can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Mr. Williams, you're a rock star, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you. Any other comments from the audience? I see none. Council, we good?
Yep.
Kathleen, let's vote.
Wilson.
Aye.
Phillips.
Aye.
Graham Murray.
Aye.
McCampbell.
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye.
Okay. Are there any other comments tonight from the audience? Anyone? As long as it's not Hightower? I see none. Jason, satisfied? Yes, sir. Yeah, you can come. Yeah, you can come on and do it right now, Don.
I'm basically just gonna give you an informational packet, so you guys can look at it between now and the next meeting. That's going to be brought to you. So, in regards to our third out ambulance that we talked about before. Thank you. The fact that we no longer have a third out ambulance in West Burlington. So, look it over, discuss it. Matt will be back next week, or probably talk about it
Sounds
department
good.
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Don.
you.
Mr. Tislin?
Just a brief update. I'm going to be meeting with the Tama building owner tomorrow to discuss where he's at and plans moving forward. I know there's a lot of requests to try and get the streets open back up. I guess he's had the building for just over a week. He got possession Friday, September 21st. He's worked with an engineer on designing a shoring system to support the building and having an additional design meeting tomorrow to evaluate that. His goal is to get the building shored up so they can remove debris and then, once that's complete, work to rehab or reconstruct the building there. So want to get more information tomorrow and hopefully be able to update council at the work session But our primary concern is trying to get the debris removed and getting the streets opened up as soon as possible.
Does he have any idea on a timeline for this?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow. He had some preliminary, just rough numbers, but want to get a little more detail with him tomorrow, so.
Okay, if anything, the only thing I would ask is that he do a better job of trying to communicate with people who have interest in the downtown area, just because I know that is affecting them, a
Yep.
lot of them negatively.
Mhm.
So I think it's important that he has an open dialogue with them so that they can communicate back and forth.
Yeah,
So
I know
I'd
he's
ask
had
that you
some
convey
email
that.
communication that he's copied me in on, that he sent some others, but,
Right.
yeah, I'll certainly pass that along as well.
Thank you.
But as soon as you know, everybody's going to.
Yep.
Works for me. Are you good?
Mhm.
Thank you, sir. Kathleen? How was camping?
Great.
Good. Peanut butter?
I don't have anything local, but I did go to a historical seminar this weekend in Winterset, Iowa. It was all about country schools and all the gems of history around the Winterset Perry area. We got to tour the Hotel Pattee, a $20 million renovated hotel. And there was so much energy and enthusiasm generated, and Burlington has a lot of untapped history that we should really be bragging. We should really start bragging and telling everybody about what we have here, because if you brag about it and show it off, people will come. So people from all over the states were at this seminar. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Well, I do have one thing. Make-A-Wish Foundation is donating a pontoon to a family with a terminally ill child on Wednesday at 2 o'clock down at the marina, and they would like to see a pretty good crowd there. I think there's going to be some people there from the PD and the fire department. There could be the TV stations involved, so it'd be great to kind of let this child and this family who's going through a pretty rough time right now, and let them know that they're important to the Burlington area. So if you want to come down 2 o'clock, Bluff Harbor Marina, and we'll have a little presentation for
And
them.
that's on
So
Wednesday.
That's on Wednesday, this Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
If Shane comes, make sure to put his beverage in a sippy cup.
Mayor Pro Tem, that was nice, by the way. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, we got some fun things going on. Down at the Capitol, there's a couple fun things. There's a party basically for The Greatest Showman, and that's on Thursday, October 4th. Party starts at 5:30, and the show is actually at 7:30. It's $15 a person, but that includes appetizers and one free drink, beer, wine, soda, water. There's also going to be a silent auction, raffles. So that should be a pretty fun time. I've heard a lot about that movie, and I think I might have to go. And then also, this weekend, starting on Friday at 4:30, they're going to be showing at various times, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And that's a documentary about Mr. Rogers. So I remember Mr. Rogers, and I love that show. So that would be pretty interesting to see. And there's several show times, so you should probably try to get out there and see it sometime. I think that's all I have.
You love that show, huh?
I do.
That's interesting. Mr. Rinker.
I just want to announce, and I think John's going to help me with this, but my office is having kind of a customer appreciation safety day coming up the end of the month, and we're doing two things. One thing that we're doing is promoting the fire alarms smoke alarm program, and we're also going to be checking car seats. So if you want to get your name on the list to have the fire department come and inspect your home for smoke alarms and maybe install some, you can stop by and do that. Or if you have a child seat in your vehicle, or you're a new parent and you're going to have child seats in your vehicle, you can stop by and have that inspected and kind of get some instruction on that as well.
Those babies aren't easy to hook up.
Gosh.
No, not at all. The other thing I want to say, and just in response to the ladies' comments tonight, is we all live in a community, and part of living in a community is supporting the people that also live in that community. I know that not every person in this community takes advantage of every single thing that we spend money on. However, the benefit of being in a community is the things that you do enjoy, other people are paying for, and they may not be taking advantage of them. So I just want to make sure that as a community we remember that. So.
Thank you.
Assistant City Manager Nick McGregor.
Well, today you've seen some progress on a couple of the major roads projects that we have going on right now. After some frustration, even to my level, Mount Pleasant Street has gotten asphalt laid down. Should be done from the full stretch on the north third of the project. And then they should finish with the surface, the drive surface tomorrow, and then proceed with milling the remaining of the week on the south side. So it's good that we're having that move forward. We had some issue with I think I've explained this, subcontractor that was having some issues with some patching. So we're moving forward on that, but it was a little slow go, and I know there was some frustration, especially with the number of cones that were smushed throughout that project. But Agency Street also saw some more concrete poured today, and you should see the intersection at Roosevelt and Agency open up relatively soon, sometime next week, by the time we get striping in and then the lights debagged. So that'll be nice to get that left-hand turn back available. I know there's some frustrations with that project as well. I think the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the Mount Pleasant Street Bridge. As you've seen or heard on the radio or newspaper, that BNSF is holding us up a little bit on a demolition plan. The demolition plan is something that the contractor sends in. So we awarded bids sometime in early June, and the contractor was then selected. It is their duty to then submit a demolition plan to BNSF. That was submitted on July 13th. They typically have 60-day turnaround. They have a third-party administrator review the demolition plan, and then BNSF has to have final approvals. I've been told that we're about ready to rock and roll with the rest of the demolition plan. I know that people don't like to hear that why is it taking so long? Why was the demo plan not approved? Well, we as a city aren't going to be able to submit that demolition plan. That's not part of our process. The other thing to keep in mind is that this project really isn't being set back that far from BNSF's review. Now, if it were to continue on for another month or so, then we would lose some good construction months to get things completed. But all hope wasn't lost when we weren't able to demo over top of the rail. They did complete the east abutment, which still would have taken time, still would have had Osborne closed sometime in the spring, but now that's done, and we only have to worry about Osborne closure on a temporary basis when they bring the trusses and then the spans in. So I know that there was probably some fears from a lot of the business owners along Mount Pleasant Street, a lot of people that used that bridge in the past. There is maybe some delay. We don't know what that means yet, but the demolition over the part of Osborne that you saw went really fast. They were able to knock out quite a bit pretty quick like. So this contractor is chomping at the bit to get back started. We're just waiting for some of the paperwork processes from a corporate organization that's in Texas. So that's some of the things that we're waiting on.
Is that it? That sounds like plenty. Thank you, sir. I would just like to close out by thanking Don in advance for the drama that you're going to have to deal with going through this process, but we'll get through it. But that's right, you got broad shoulders, and we'll get through it together. So also remind everybody, just be mindful of the school zone. Still a lot of speeding in the school zones. Those are set for a reason, so just be mindful of that. To the local businesses, I would just encourage you again, especially downtown, that you're our first line of defense when people are coming into town, and you can spend money on advertising and all of that good stuff, but what really draws people, and we're going to bring people back, is just being friendly and doing business with a smile. So just want to encourage the local businesses. It really does mean a lot, and that goes further than any dollar bill that you could ever spend. The other last thing I'd like to close out with is I would just like to encourage everybody this week, or actually for the entire month, I would like to encourage, or rather challenge families to, for dinner time, shut down the cell phone, sit down at a table together, and eat a meal with your kids, everybody. Even if you're not cooking and you're getting McDonald's, sit down at a table, talk to your family members, put the cell phones away, and spend some quality time. It'll make a huge difference in your life. And if you're watching, you say, we do that all the time. Well, God bless you. But we live in a fast-paced world where everybody's moving and doing different things. But it's really important to the family structure. So I would encourage or even challenge people for the rest of this month if you get the opportunity, please, 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 sit down at the table, take the time. You'll be glad that you did. All right, enough of me. We good? Can I get a motion,
Yeah.
please?
Move to close?
Second.
Moved in second. Kathleen?
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Rinker.
Aye. This meeting's adjourned.